Всем привет, дорогие друзья, с вами Linux, и сегодня мы с вами будем играть в игру всех времен и народов, самую лучшую игру, самую просто охренительную игру, просто полнейший вынос мозга. В общем, собственно, расскажу вам, постараюсь рассказать все концовочки. Я тут знаю одну хорошую концовочку, ну не хорошую, а какую-то ядреную концовку, ядрен батон. В общем, говорю, что эту игру можно было купить в Стиме за 149 рублей до 19 мая, но вот 19 мая уже прошло, к сожалению, поэтому теперь игра будет стоить 200 с чем-то рублей в Стиме. Ну, в общем, игра нормальная, я уже играл, рекомендую, советую поиграть. Сейчас сами все увидите, я буду сейчас молчать. Потому что тут сейчас будет как бы в одно такое видео, как бы, ну вы поняли, рассказ о том, что тут происходило, бла-бла-бла, это поля и все такое. Вот. Очень долгая загрузка. Все, смотрим.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one,
Мне пришлось на немного
no
поставить
one had showed
паузу.
up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Да. И
All of his
немного лагает.
co-workers were gone. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Вот, собственно, концовочка, которая
No
просто...
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
В общем, короче, собственно, надо какими-то судьбами подняться вот на этот стол и пробраться вот в это окно, собственно. Да, вот только... А, вот, все, пробрались. Ай, зараза. В общем, нам как-то надо пробраться на вот этот вот стол. Как нам на него пробраться? Я даже не могу себе представить, как на него пробраться. А, да, я понял, давай. Опа! Вот, смотрите, и сейчас мы с вами вылазим просто в окно, и... Опа! И тут типа концовка тут.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Are you sick of this gag? Ну, допустим, yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who
Он меня задолбал своей болтовней, он может просто всех, вот, он взорвет весь мир, он просто захватит весь мир своей болтовней.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Заткнись!
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Вот ты не охренел ли, пацан? Вообще обалдел.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Давайте зайдем справа.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Да
Stanley
ладно!
knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Долбанутая комната.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ну, в общем, все понятно.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Да, согласен.
Oh well, look who's got cold feet. But in his eagerness to prove...
Да-да-да, я понял. Собственно, наверное, больше нету концовки. Ну, может, нас там опять убьют. Нас везде убивают. Вообще как-то странно. Добрая игра такая.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Да ладно, в конференц-зале помещается 416 человек. Да ты чё бредишь? Хорош
When
тут,
Stanley
знаете.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Странный какой-то, правда.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
В общем, там ничего нет. Погнали наверх.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss's office. Boss's office. Эксклюзив. Экскутив бафрум. Но она не открывается. Понятно. А что у нас тут? Тоже не открывается. Что у нас здесь?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Да, точно.
What he could not have known was that the keypad
Да.
behind the boss's
Да.
desk
Да.
guarded the terrible
Да.
truth
Да.
that his boss had been keeping from him.
Да.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number,
2845, 2845.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
А вот не хочу я 2845.
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead.
Вот я буду тыкать вот ему на зло.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Ну, короче, мы его так додолбаем, понятно.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to, by sheer luck, amazing. He stepped into the newly opened
Неприятно,
passageway.
невероятно. Не хотел я на этом лифте ехать, но меня заставили. Опять долгая загрузка, ну и тому подобное. Прям меня, забесивает эта игра, потому что она бесит, она меня бесит. Загрузка, да. О.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Не хочу я в эту темную комнату идти. Вот как зависает
Stanley
игра.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ага, за нами наблюдали.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Вот 427, видите, да?
Eternally monitored in
Вот
this place
427.
where freedom meant nothing.
Вот 427, смотрите, видите 427, да? Видите 427, вон 427. Вот сейчас опять экраны погаснут, там будет 427, видите, да? Видите 427, вот. Да, я угадал. Вау. Там-падам. Лифт. А где ствол для лифта? Типа, не надо будет.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was
да,
happy with his
логично было бы
boring
так
job?
сделать.
That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
А может, я не хочу на этом лифте ехать? Не хочу я на этом лифте ехать. Не поеду я на этом лифте. Выпустите меня обратно. Отпустите меня. Я никуда не пойду. Не хочу. О, открыли. Валим отсюда. Валим. Бежим отсюда. Вон там дверь открытая. Назад. А нет, дверь закрыта. Нет. Ну ладно. Пацаны, отпустите меня. А если вот так вот по очереди реально вот так вот все выключить? Может быть, дверь откроется, и я уйду обратно. Нет, тут ничего не выключается. Блин, я не хочу на этом лифте ехать. Как вырубить это все дерьмо? Не хочу я смотреть на это дерьмо. Вырубите это наконец. Ура! Всё, блядь! Ладно, все, заканчивайте. Хорош. 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 Нет, 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 выключай, выключай. 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 Давай, выключай, выключай, давай, выключай. Задолбало, все это уже задолбало. Давай, выключай, выключай, выключай. Выключай, выключай, выключай,
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Ну да,
Never.
логично.
It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly
Блин.
spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Да, ладно,
But here
давайте
was the
мы уже...
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Да, я согласен. Положить этой системе конец, и чтоб ты наконец-то замолчал. Ну да, такой вечеринка получилась. Фак!
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the
Я
controls,
выключить
did you?
хотел, я
After they kept you
перепутал.
enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you
Я
wanted?
перепутал.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much
Я не
better than
хотел,
that.
я
I'm afraid
перепутал.
you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine
Какие
is activated
ядерные
without
детонаторы?
proper
Ты чё,
DNA
охренел?
identification,
Не-не-не, кончай весь этот цирк.
detonators are set to explode.
Хорош,
Eliminating
давай,
the
кончай
entire
все, весь этот
complex.
цирк.
How long until detonation then?
Какой взрыв, ты
Let's
чё?
say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your
Чё,
time
ты чё,
to
алло,
shine.
хорош.
You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is
Выход.
much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moment it is. More time to talk about you, about me.
Хорош, кончай весь этот цирк.
What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
Да.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them.
Все, больше мне ничего не надо. Всем спасибо за внимание, с вами был Linux, оставайтесь с нами на канале Blue Team, не забудьте поставить лайк, прокомментировать и подписаться на наш канал. Всем спасибо за внимание, с вами был Linux, пока. Оставайтесь со мной, с нами, со всеми, пока.